So click the link you think you like and get tooled for a fight against those lefty fascist communists who are leaning too far right.
Hi, this is not another fake newscast, and this is our first video.
It is, and we're doing a general election special on the manifestos of the Labour Party and the Tory Party. I'm Jerry.
I'm Paul.
So let's get right into it. First of all, Labour on the economy, they have stated that there will be no tax increase for anybody who earns less than £80,000.
That's pretty much everyone that's listening to us.
I would imagine so. If you're on less than £80,000, this will not affect the amount of tax you're paying whatsoever. They've also pledged no national insurance increase and no VAT increase. What have the Tories said on that?
They've also said no VAT increase.
Yeah.
Not mentioned national insurance.
So no mention of national insurance. That could be because in the last Conservative manifesto they said that they would not increase national insurance. In the last budget, the Tory party announced that they would increase national insurance, and they were forced to U-turn on that when everyone went, nah, you promised something else. So we suspect at this time they have not mentioned national insurance because they fully intend on increasing it at their first budget if they get into power. Tories have also pledged that there will be
personal budget of 12,500, so there'll be no tax on 12,500 or below until you get right up to 50 grand or something similar.
Nah, 12,500 you won't pay any tax underneath that. Between 12,500 and £50,000 you will be in the lower bracket. You're only going to the higher bracket after 50,000. In terms of corporation tax, the Labour Party are pledging to increase corporation tax. The Tories have said that they will take it down to 17%.
It's pretty low. That's currently lower than anyone else in the leading worlds, the top 20 leading worlds. There is a possibility that we're going to see it decreased in America, but we're still waiting for Trump to come out with his actual blueprint on that.
So, as expected, the Tories are looking after business interests here, trying to bring more business into the country. Moving on, Labour have pledged to have a national investment bank. They have said that they're going to raise $250 billion from private corporations to invest regionally around the country. How they're going to get private companies to invest $250 billion remains to be seen.
Tories are doing something similar, only we're paying for that.
$3 billion into the National Productivity Investment Fund, but
not quite as much money as Labour are looking for it.
No, but that has been paid for by the public. It's coming at public offer, so you can pretty much guarantee that will happen.
Labour are also going to nationalise literally everything. We're going to nationalise water, electricity, trains, public services, health services, education, pretty much everything.
Personal care, Royal Mail. In terms of that, the Tories have said that they will invest 600 million in making electric cars, which, zero emissions can be a bad thing.
But nationalising pretty much nothing.
Yeah. So, you could argue that there's a good argument for nationalising the railways in the UK, because at the moment there's a large percentage of them which are owned by state-owned railway companies from Germany, from Holland and from France. And the profits that are being made on railways in the UK are being used to subsidise rail fares in those countries. So
essentially, if you're pro-Brexit and anti-EU, the fact that we're essentially paying money on the rails to then go to EU countries to pay for their rails probably disgruntles you in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, so we can understand nationalisation of the railways. Nationalisation of everything else, I guess, is up for discussion. Labour, in terms of minimum wage, have pledged to take the national minimum wage to £10 per hour by 2020.
Yeah, so currently they're going to bring it up to what the national minimum wage, living wage will be, which currently is sub £8 or thereabouts, but they expect that in the next couple of years it's going to be up to about £10 an hour.
£10 an hour by 2020. Yeah. The national living wage is what's in place at the moment under the Tory government for under 25s, but Labour are going to implement that for everybody who's over 18.
18 and up.
Yeah, so if you're between 18 and 25, you would stand to, and you're on the minimum wage, you would stand to improve your situation by voting Labour in that instance. The Tory
they're also going to raise wages, correct?
They're going to raise the national living wage for anybody over 25 to 60% of the median of wages in the UK, which is not the same as the average. Median means dead on 50-50 in the middle.
Usually so in previous years it's been £5,000 less, so £5,000 less than the average wage across the UK.
That's correct, yeah. Labour's plan for national minimum wage up to £10 would cost employers in the UK 14 billion. So if you run any kind of business and employ any kind of staff, that's not a good policy for you.
Absolutely not.
Brexit, under Labour, they have stated that they accept the terms of the referendum and they plan to move ahead with the Brexit, but not the hard Brexit, which is currently being
a softer
planned
Brexit.
by the a softer Brexit, soft-boiled Brexit,
soft-boiled Brexit,
which includes
Brexit Benedict,
which includes remaining part of the single market and part of the customs union. But at the same time, they've stated that on immigration there will be no freedom of movement after Brexit, and we would suggest that the two of those aims are incompatible.
Fundamentally, that's not going to happen. I mean, essentially, we can be relatively sure that in the event Labour go the route that they want to go regarding the free market, you're probably going to find themselves having free movement of people as well.
Yeah. So it's you can either have both those things or none of those things, which the Tories have said that no deal is better than a bad deal. That's their stance. They're going hardline. They are going to try and come up with some sort of trade agreement, but they want to bring immigration down to the tens of thousands.
No deal isn't really better than a bad deal, really, if you think about it. Because
Not
a bad deal,
opinion,
because a bad deal is at least a deal, whereas no deal is literally nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember that programme being called
Deal or no deal or bad deal.
Yeah. So in terms of the military, the Tories are looking to spend 178 billion over the next 10 years on various
fucking everything, boats and planes and cars and trucks and guns and missiles and
drones,
all sorts of death.
So one would suggest that if they are looking to spend that amount of money over the next 10 years, that they are perhaps going to want to use those things that they're paying money
Let's
for.
hope it's not in our country, but in other countries too.
In terms of schools,
wait. Military though, Labour, we should point out that
sorry.
Corbyn is actually weirdly, I'm going to say pro-nuclear weapons, and that's a lie, but he's pledged to renew Trident. I mean, he's going to, even though that's against his usual standpoint on that.
He's also pledged to remain part of NATO, and
again against his usual standpoint on that.
Yeah. So while people say that he always holds fast to his values, in this case he is, for the better of the party perhaps, or to appease certain factions of the party, he has said that he will renew Trident, he will remain part of NATO. Schools. In terms of education, Labour are looking to bring 30 hours free childcare, extend that to include 2-year-olds. They also want to develop further education colleges which will provide free education for life, and they also want to get rid of all tuition fees.
Abolishment of tuition fees, something that we get up here, and it's beneficial.
So if you're a student, then again that's something you're going to want to vote for. The Tories have pledged to spend 4 billion extra on schools between now and 2020.
They're bringing in a sweet policy for new training schemes for technicians, aren't they, for engineers?
Yeah, so what they're going to bring in is a new qualification called the T-level, which across sort of 15 technical subjects, including construction, commission, things like that, they are going to pledge 50% more hours to be spent on these every year, to take it up to 900 hours, and a new qualification called a T-level. So I would argue that we do need
not more. A terrible policy in the slightest.
No.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's almost votable for.
Yep.
Almost.
In terms of the NHS, Labour have pledged 30 billion extra for the NHS, and that they have said that they will raise that money by the extra tax that they're putting on the top 5% of society.
They're also going to reverse privatisation.
Yeah.
So bring the NHS back under. So not just the same way that they're going to do, say, prisons, for example. Prisons will no longer be private if we build a new prison.
Yeah.
But the NHS, everything that's been private will be bought back or reacquired in some way, shape or form by the government.
Yeah, but under national ownership. The Tory party have proposed 8 billion extra funding every year for the NHS, but they have failed to say how they're going to come up with that money. In fact, Theresa May was questioned by Andrew Neil about 5 times last week on the BBC and refused to give an answer on where that money was coming from.
And 10,000 mental health professionals that are going to be somewhere.
Yeah, they have pledged 10,000 more mental health professionals.
Non-defined mental health professionals.
They haven't given us a date for that. They haven't told us where it will happen or what they will do, but I'm sure we'll soon find out. Moving on, in terms of prisons, we've heard what the Labour policies are for that. They're not going to privatise any further. They've also said that they will introduce 3,000 new prison officers. The Tories' plan is to spend £1 billion on redevelopment of the prison system.
Redecorating old prisons to make them nicer.
And that's going to create 10,000 new modern places in prison.
So that's good.
Not if you might get sent to prison, it's not.
You make a good point.
Be good out there, kids. So what else do we have to look at?
Well, I mean, for the most part that covers it. There's a little bit about immigration. What's your immigration stats that you're going to see? In the event we find the Tories in, students are now going to be seen as part of the immigration statistics. Generally speaking, they leave after 4 years, so it's going to mean that the numbers may be slightly off. The House of Lords in the past have tried to prevent them from having these figures put in, and that got put back by Theresa May, and now the Tory government are going in with in the manifesto to say that they will be including students as part of their immigration stats. That may skew the figures.
Might fudge the numbers a little.
A little.
In terms of animal rights, Labour have pledged that they will keep the ban on fox hunting. The Tories have said they will have a free vote in Parliament on fox hunting.
Labour have said that they will stop the trade of ivory because it's fucking horrible.
The Tories have said the opposite, that they're all for it.
And Labour have said that you're not allowed to do third-party sales of puppies because that's a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. No, I don't really know what it means, but it sounds very cuddly and nice, so I'm glad that they're doing that.
No, they're going to stop it.
Oh, they're going to stop it?
I don't think they're permitting third-party sales.
But how am I going to get a puppy then?
First-party sales.
Oh, first-party
From a puppy dealer.
From a puppy dealer. Licensed.
Licensed puppyist.
Media. Labour are looking to go ahead with Leveson Inquiry Part 2 into the phone hacking scandal. The Tories have said, what, Paul?
That they're going to ignore it to the best of their ability and repeal anything that's came off the back of it.
Some people would argue that that might be the reason why the UK press and media are against Jeremy Corbyn.
Who knows?
And finally, Labour have pledged to make the House of Lords a fully elected chamber.
And the Tories have pledged to make sure that the internet is going to be managed by the Tories, so you can't say bad things about the Tories. So
that'd be us fucked then.
That would be us in a real horrible place.
Also, Labour Party are going to make anybody over the age of 16 eligible for a vote.
I thought you were going to say give them a knighthood.
No, I mean, they're allowed to be in the army and they have to pay taxes, etc. So why shouldn't they get a vote? I think that's a fair argument.
They should also be able to drink and smoke.
Well, it's bad for their health.
What, the fact that they can't drink and smoke?
No voting.
Alright, okay.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to us. We are www.notanotherfakenewscast.com.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, PGMcast. We are on Patreon. It would be great if we get some more donations on Patreon because it can keep us running and we can provide you more of these hilarious videos.
And you can listen to a much more in-depth analysis of both of the main parties' manifestos on our latest podcast, our general election special, where we'll hopefully be much more entertaining.
Hopefully. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and hopefully see you soon.
Bye.